Well, that's Pyramid Peak, and that's North Maroon, and that is certainly a different angle of North Maroon for me. Pretty cool looking. Well, so far today's been good. Started out at 11,000 feet and been above 11,000 feet all day. And I got over East Snowmass Creek Pass, dropped down, and then came up over Willow Pass, which it sounds bigger than it is. When you drop off of East Snowmass Creek, you lose about, I don't know, 600 vertical feet. And then when you go up Willow Pass, you only go up 550. So it's not that much. And now I'm heading down to go up Buckskin Pass, which sounds like a lot too. If it would be if you did it from the trailhead at Maroon Lake. But I'm way up here already, well above 12,000. And I'm only going to go up 450 feet, cross Buckskin, and then drop down towards Snowmass Lake. And I won't stay at Snowmass Lake, there's too many people there. So I'll probably camp at one of the basins off of Buckskin Pass on the way down. And I always mix it up. It's not Little Remuda. Maybe it is. Yeah, it's, I think, Little Remuda Pass, if I'm saying it correctly. I'll put it up above here when I edit this. But yeah, it's been a beautiful day. Been moving super slow uphill. And I would say it's my pack. And it's not that heavy, it's around 40 pounds, maybe 42. Well, I have about 600 feet to go up to Buckskin now. A little bit more than I thought I was going to have. I dropped below 12,000, 11 something, 770. So I got a little bit more uphill to go before I head down. And you see that little strip of snow up there? That's Buckskin Pass. Well, I made a Buckskin Pass. That's the last pass of the day. 3 passes today, and that's enough for one day. And now I get to head towards Snowmass Lake. That's Snowmass Peak, the pointy ones. Capitol Peak is there, and you can see Snowmass Lake down at the bottom there. And that's where I'll go tomorrow, but not the camp. Snowmass Peak looks terrific. Capitol doesn't look so bad, but it is the most dangerous 14er. Looking at the Knife Edge Ridge. Pyramid and North Maroon. think I'll take. Well, the trail gets a little narrow here with a good sized drop off and switchback, as you can see down to the trail down there. So it's important to stay on the trail here, not get off, because it'd be hard to get back on. In places like this, if you're passing livestock, it's important to stay to the inside of the mountain, not the outside over there where you could get pushed off. Or if you see horses coming up, it might be good to try to scurry through these a little faster before the livestock gets here. But sometimes you can unexpectedly meet livestock. I've had that happen more in the Himalayas than here, meeting yaks and mule trains on the trails. And there it's absolutely crucial to stay on the inside of the trail, the mountainside, not the outside where you might get pushed off. Yaks and other livestock don't have a lot of empathy for humans in that regard. That's pretty cool. I like my bedroom window. And here's the other side. Pretty awesome. I like having a tent with 2 doors, and I can leave everything open on nights where it's not going to rain. Yep, pretty nice. Well, I've actually come to like my Durston tent quite a bit. It might be challenging when people first get a Durston tent. This is the Pro Mid 2. Maybe it's not the Pro. Anyway, it's still nylon. It's not Dyneema. Dyneema tents are kind of expensive. And I think this tent will last just as long as I want. But the challenging aspect is learning to use all of the tie-outs, which can be kind of frustrating and tiring when you come to camp and you have to use, and I'm not even using all of them, and there's some more that I want to tie some strings on. By doing that, you have a shelter that will last in most any condition. Most any. Well, this is day 3 of my exploring a little bit of a different area for me in the Aspen backcountry, kind of, but not really. And this is a great campsite I have just on about 800, 900 feet on the west side of Buckskin Pass. And I was just talking about my Durston tent. I woke up and decided to talk about it a little bit. And I actually want to talk about my pack too here in a little bit, the Osprey pack. But yeah, it's a great morning. It's cool. It's probably in the 40s. I don't see any smoke and not too many clouds. And it was a great night. And I woke up to a mule deer, a buck, just outside my tent grazing, and I started moving around. I didn't seem to bother the deer at all. Anyway, it's time for breakfast. Well, this is the Osprey Exos 48 pack, and so I was wrong. It's 48 liters, not 35. So carrying 42 pounds, 40 pounds isn't bad. It has no side pockets, but it does have this stretchy fabric for water bottles, and then one main pocket, a pocket up on top, or what I would call the brain, where you can put things you need immediately, and then just one big container pocket It's an okay pack. It has good padding, like most Osprey packs. The thing I like about it, though, and I think it'd be good for the desert, that keeps this off your back. It actually works. It's a kind of a unique feature. Most of the packs nowadays, or mountaineering packs, don't have this because of saving weight. It's actually a very comfortable pack, but it's probably not my go-to pack for the future. Has 2 pockets in the hip belts, but it's very airy. It would be nice in really hot conditions. Keep you a little bit cooler. Anyway, that's the pack. Has a lot of little side features. They keep the weight low. I think it's only over 3.5 pounds, the pack itself. So that's not bad. And that's the pack I use. I think it's a great pack for a 3 to 5 night trip. And that's about it. It's just above Lost Remuda Basin. I think I said last Remuda yesterday, but it's Lost. And I've always enjoyed these switchbacks here. And the forest here is still quite beautiful. There's a few pine beetle kill, but the pine beetles have not devastated this area like a lot of Colorado or our western forest. Well, I've just gotten down to Lost Remuda Basin, and just what a beautiful spot. The first time I came through here, nearly 40 years ago, I went fly fishing down there, and the gentleman that I was with, actually, he caught a few more than I did, but we were catching some little brookies in this creek. At that time too, the crossing up here, you generally had to change shoes into sandals or something, or you would get your feet wet. What a great sight. It's also nice coming down to where there's a little bit more oxygen. I think I'm at 11,000, maybe a little less. And since I've also been going downhill, the hiking has been quite pleasant. Well, it was interesting being up at Snowmass Lake. I haven't been up here to Snowmass Lake for a number of years, but I've been up here often, many times. But it brought back a lot of memories today. That was kind of strange for me. The first time I came up here was probably 1985, 1986, and camped for a couple of nights. And I've always found Snowmass Lake really beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful backcountry lakes I've ever been to. It still has suffered a lot of use over the years, and even 40 years ago, around the lake was highly impacted by visitors, myself included. One of the interesting things I kept thinking about today, how many times I've been up here for mountain rescue and missions. I think I've been on 6 helicopters that have dropped me off somewhere in the amphitheater up above the basin or down below. Just at the other side of the lake, there's a spot where that's when I've been dropped off probably the most, 3 or 4 times. Doing a number of missions that involved people that were injured quite severely, had to be flown out by helicopter. One time I had to walk out. I was dropped off at the amphitheater, just 2 of us, myself and John Galvin. And John and I had to walk out. The helicopter took the person out. Anyway, a lot of memories, some of them kind of sad that happens. Well, at the top of that ridge and on the other side is the valley I came up, East Snowmass Creek. Now I'm headed down Snowmass Creek Trail, and I was going to stay another night, but I think I might just go on down and have something to eat in the valley. There's the beaver ponds down below. From the beaver ponds, once I get there, I have a dam crossing on some wooden logs. That's always exciting. And then from there, it's 6 miles or less back to my car. So I'm thinking I will continue on down. We'll see how much energy I have left here. Once I get to the beaver dam, I'm actually going to give up a really nice place to camp just as soon as I finish these switchbacks going down. It's kind of nice. It's gotten cloudy, and walking when the sun's out in this next little section can be a little hot in the sun, even at this elevation, but with the clouds it should be pretty nice. Well, the fireweed in mid-August here is still beautiful, and it is surprising to me how little rain western Colorado has gotten this year during the monsoon, that there are still a lot of wildflowers out.